What if I told you that one missile from the other side could trigger a war pulling in the US, Russia, and the entire Middle East? This isn't just politics, this is personal. Gas prices, global security, even your future, it all hangs in the balance. This is the Iran-Israel conflict, a decades-long powder keg on the verge of ignition. In the next few minutes, we're diving into the heart of it. No fluff, no robotic voiceover, just the truth, raw and real. From nuclear threats to proxy battles, and from secret cyber wars to global consequences, this video gives you the full story so you can understand not just what's happening, but why it matters to you. Stick with me, and if you're someone who's tired of surface-level news and wants the real picture, subscribe now because this is just the beginning. 3. Proxy wars, fighting through others. Iran doesn't attack Israel directly. Instead, it uses proxies: Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza, Houthi rebels in Yemen, and militias in Syria and Iraq. These groups fire rockets into Israel, dig terror tunnels, and wage guerrilla warfare, often coordinated quietly with Iranian commanders. Israel strikes back, usually via airstrikes in Syria, assassinations of Iranian scientists, and cyber operations like the famous Stuxnet virus that crippled Iran's nuclear systems. It's a shadow war, and every proxy strike risks lighting the whole region on fire. 1. Why are Iran and Israel fighting? It started long before today. This is decades in the making. After the 1979 Islamic Revolution, Iran cut all ties with Israel, labeling it an illegitimate regime and enemy of Islam. Iran's leaders began supporting Palestinian militant groups like Hamas and Islamic Jihad. Israel, on the other hand, sees Iran as a major threat to its existence, especially with Iran's growing military and influence in Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and Yemen. The core? Its ideology. Iran's Islamic regime believes Israel shouldn't exist, and Israel believes Iran, with its nuclear ambitions, is in existential danger. The result? A Cold War with hot flare-ups, and it's only heating up. 2. Iran's nuclear program, the red line. Here's the scary part. Iran is closer than ever to developing a nuclear weapon. Tehran insists its nuclear program is peaceful, but satellite images, defiant speeches, and uranium enrichment levels tell a different story. Israel has already warned, if the world doesn't act, it will. They've done it before. In 1981, they bombed Iraq's nuclear facility. In 2007, Syria's. Now, they're openly preparing for the same in Iran. U.S. intelligence says Iran could build a bomb in under 2 weeks if it wanted to. That's not just a red line, that's a flashing red siren. And if Israel strikes first, Iran will retaliate hard. We're talking missiles on Tel Aviv, cyber attacks, attacks on U.S. bases, oil prices spiking. The world shakes. 4. What does Israel want from Iran? Israel has 3 demands. 1. Stop uranium enrichment. 2. Stop arming and funding terrorist groups. 3. Stop threatening Israel's existence. Israel isn't just worried about missiles, it's worried about annihilation. Iranian leaders have publicly called for Israel's destruction. When your neighbor says they want to erase you, you don't sleep easy. Israel wants to neutralize the threat before it becomes unmanageable. Diplomacy failed. Sanctions are weak. So Israel's preparing for war, if that's what it takes. 5. What does Iran want from Israel? Iran's leadership doesn't just hate Israel, they use it. By positioning themselves as Israel's fiercest enemy, they rally support across the Muslim world. They paint Israel as the enemy of Islam, America's puppet, and the oppressor of Palestinians. This distracts from domestic problems: inflation, protests, corruption. When people are angry, the regime points to Israel. Also, Iran wants to dominate the region, and standing up to Israel is their ticket to power. 6. Could this turn into a full war? The truth, we're one spark away. A missile misfires. An Israeli airstrike kills the wrong person. Iran retaliates with a direct hit on Tel Aviv. Israel responds by bombing nuclear sites. Hezbollah launches 10,000 rockets. The U.S. sends troops. Sound extreme? Not really. In 2023, a similar escalation between Israel and Gaza almost pulled Lebanon, Syria, and even Iraq into the fight. We're sitting on a powder keg, and every day, the fuse burns shorter. 7. Where does the U.S. stand? The U.S. is Israel's strongest ally. It sends billions in aid, advanced weapons, and shares intelligence. But Biden, like previous presidents, doesn't want another Middle East war. After Iraq and Afghanistan, Americans are tired. Still, if Israel is attacked, the U.S. will likely respond fast. There are already U.S. troops and bases across the region. They could be targeted, dragged into the fight. Iran knows that, so they try to push limits without triggering all-out war. But that balance is dangerously unstable. 8. Who benefits from this conflict? It sounds crazy, but both governments benefit from war talk. In Iran, it silences protesters. It gives the regime an enemy to blame for everything from food shortages to blackouts. In Israel, it unites a deeply divided society. Right-wing governments use the Iranian threat to boost defense budgets and justify tough security law. War helps leaders stay in power even if it hurts the people. 9. What would it take to end this? Peace isn't impossible, but it's hard. Iran would need to give up nukes, stop funding terrorists, and accept Israel's existence. That's a huge ask. Israel would need to ease its military campaigns, lift Gaza blockades, and allow more Palestinian rights, also a huge ask. The US, EU, and Gulf states could mediate, but trust is at rock bottom. And in today's politics, even talking peace can cost leaders their power. Still, the alternative is worse. That's why some diplomats still fight for peace, behind the scenes. 10. Could this be the start of something much bigger? Absolutely. If full war erupts, it could pull in Hezbollah and Lebanon, militias in Iraq and Syria, U.S. and NATO forces, Russian-backed Syrian troops, Saudi and Gulf Arab countries. Oil prices could skyrocket. Cyber attacks could cripple banks. Terrorism could spread. This isn't just a regional issue, it's a global nightmare. And it could happen this year. If you've made it this far, you're one of the few who actually wants to understand the world. And that matters. This conflict isn't just headlines. It affects gas prices, global peace, and future elections. It affects you. So if you want more content that cuts through the noise, content that respects your intelligence, do one thing. Thumbs up, like this video, push pin, share it with someone who needs to see it, bell, and hit subscribe, because Clearstream Updates is here to help you see the world clearly. This was just the beginning.